Good morning, everyone. Today, we have an on-chain analysis from Will Clemente for the past week. I suggest you follow Will on Twitter or sign up to the newsletter. His details can be found in the description. Some disclaimers. This video is for informational purposes only. You should not construe this as legal, tax, or investment advice. Also, we have no affiliation with Will, but we do feel his newsletters has lots of valuable information that can help holders and miners separate the signal from the noise. Let's get into Will's analysis. Hope all is well with you and that you had a great week. Another week of ranging, although on-chain is showing some interesting developments. Let's dive in. Here are the key takeaways from this week. Supply continues to be re-accumulated by entities with little history of selling. This has ramped up heavily. Exchange flows have returned to a clear trend of accumulation down 17,000 BTC. Hash rate seems to have found at least a local bottom. Grayscale premium getting bid up, but share unlocking on the horizon. Finally, an uptick in positive whale activity. Stable coins flowing in, new all-time highs in users coming onto the network. On-chain activity transfer is dead. Firstly, let's take a look at this chart representing the net growth of users or entities coming onto the Bitcoin network. The growth of new users is now reaching all-time highs, over 50,000 new entities coming on-chain a day. Next, we're going to break down the re-accumulation that's been taking place. This trend has done nothing but accelerate this week. There's a few aspects to this. 1. The amount of supply being replenished from the marketplace. 2. The size of the entities absorbing that supply. And 3. The spending behavior of the entities absorbing that supply. Firstly, we'll look at exchange flows. Exchanges are down 17,000 BTC this week. Instead of just showing you the balance on exchanges chart you've seen a million times, here's a variant of it that I created. Using Bollinger Bands, the signal looks at times that coins are either moved onto exchanges heavily or pulled off exchanges heavily. This just flashed the first buy signal in over 3 months, giving you another way to see the trend reversal into accumulation. Next up, we have the size of the entities that have been buying. Retail has been buying heavily for weeks now, but we finally got the uptick in whales that we were waiting for. There were 17 new whales birthed on the blockchain this week, while at the same time the overall holdings of whales increased by 65,000 BTC. Lastly, we have the spending behavior of the entities that are buying. Entities that have a very low history of selling are continuing to absorb more coins from speculative traders, with the liquid supply ratio jumping. This force continues to grind upwards against price. Given no capitulation event, in my humble opinion, it is a matter of when the re-accumulation process will be finished rather than if. Once the process completes, the market would experience a supply shock. Next up, we have the stablecoin supply ratio oscillator created by Willy Woo using Bollinger Bands. This current recovery is resembling that of late 2018, March 2020, and September 2020 as well. Stablecoins are starting to flow back in from the sidelines. Grayscale's premium seems to be in an uptrend, another sign of capital starting to flow back into the market. It will be interesting to see how the upcoming unlock affects the premium. Someone like Lynn Alden could probably give you a much better explanation, but from my understanding, these are the bull and bear cases I came up with. The bull. Anyone who was long the shares and shorting futures that sells their shares once unlocked will be covering these shorts as well. The bear. If the premium gets sold back, institutional capital might flow into GBTC instead of spot BTC. Hash rate finally seems to have found at least a local bottom, trending actually slightly upward throughout this week. It's a long road to full recovery, but good to see this possible end to the hash crash. Miners also appear to be accumulating again slightly, adding 1,000 BTC to their balance this week. Overall, on-chain activity is dead, shown by the number of Bitcoin transactions. If I had to build up a bear case and challenge my own opinion, this is one of the charts I would use. However, a portion of this drawdown is likely from people using the Bitcoin network less due to slower block times. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Tomorrow's podcast will be with Willy Woo. We had an awesome conversation. I'm going to listen back to it myself. That's it for today's analysis. If you found this helpful, please like, share and subscribe. You can find Will's details in the description.